Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day number 6 of the great comeback albums of all time. This is the show we're doing all throughout April here this year in 2024. 30 days in a month, our 30 favorite and best comeback albums of all time, where a band comes back from some kind of diversity, or maybe they went many years without releasing a studio album, came back with a bang, or maybe they had an album that was a critical and commercial bomb, and they came back with another one that righted the ship, got right back on board. Maybe there was a death in the band, they replaced them with a new member, came back storming, big lineup change, or maybe like a reunion album, right, where a classic lineup of a band got back together years and years later and released a very strong album. That's kind of the case today. This is the 14th studio album from this British band, released October 14th, 1995, recorded at Rumbo Recorders in Los Angeles, California, produced by Ron Nevison for Zero Corporation. Eventually came out on BMG here in the States. Walk on Water by UFO. That's right. You can see them all right there. Phil Mogg, Andy Parker, Pete Way, Paul Raymond, and Herr Michael Schenker himself, right? The big reunion, the first time these guys all recorded together and did an album together since the Obsession studio record, my favorite UFO album of all time. That, and then Strangers in the Night, and then Schenker's gone, off to do other things, and comes Paul Tonka Chapman, right? A new era for UFO. Well, here, the golden era comes back once again, right? So again, Phil Mogg on vocals, Michael Schenker on guitars, Paul Raymond keyboards and guitar, Pete Way on bass, Andy Parker on drums, Mr. Nevison producing. So this album is a mix of really crunchy and metallic rockers, as well as some more kind of bluesier numbers. I think you can start to hear on this record some of that kind of bluesy influence that would infiltrate specifically all of the Vinnie Moore era albums, which would come after Michael kind of came and went a couple times more over the next few years, right? Because they would try to do this, keep this reunion thing going, and Andy Parker jumped out for a bit, Schenker came and went. So next couple, they did 3 albums together with Schenker, 2 more after this. I say that this one is the most successful out of all of them, as far as, the album itself. Got Self-Made Man, which is just absolutely terrific. What a banger of an opener, man. Those big ripping metallic crunchy chords from Michael. I think the production on this album, as far as like how the guitar was recorded and produced, really good. I mean, Michael sounds ferocious on this album. Big massive riffs and loads of soloing, right? Just really crisp sound. His guitar just really up there in the mix and just sounds great. The whole band sounds good. You got Venus, which is really cool. Push to the Limit, another heavy rocker. Stopped by a Bullet of Love. There's a little bit of that bluesy influence. You get that on a couple tracks on here, I think, which again, kind of a little premonition of where the band would go afterwards. You got Darker Days, Running on Empty. Knock Knock is a really good track. Dreaming of Summer, again, kind of a more bright bluesy kind of track. A little bit longer, right? It's like the longest track on the album. So you got of the new original tracks, there's 8 of them. I would say probably 3 are more in the bluesy vein. All the others are really good rockers. And then, of course, yeah, why not? Because you got to fill up the album, right? They did a re-recorded versions of both Doctor Doctor and Lights Out, arguably 2 of their biggest songs, right? So you get that. They sound fine, of course, as you would imagine. They're classic tracks, right? So pretty good stuff. So yeah, no, other than the UK rock and metal albums chart, this made it to number 16. This did not chart anywhere else. And I remember, like specifically at this time when this album came out, all of us fans, all hard rock and metal fans, were really excited about this. But this was 1995. It's not like hard rock is really doing much of anything at this time. So in 1995, you're seeing the kind of fallout from the grunge years into kind of like alternative rock and alternative music, right? So all that stuff is the rage, right? So here you got the Stone Temple Pilots and dance music is getting very popular again, club music and all that kind of stuff. Rap and hip hop is coming to prominence. So stuff like this wasn't really getting a lot of mainstream attention, but on the heavy music underground, we were all kind of like, wow, Schenker's back, in UFO, the classic lineup is back. Very cool stuff. But the musical tide has changed quite a bit. The landscape had changed quite a bit by 1995. So, but yeah, cool album nonetheless. I think one of the great comeback albums. Just so great to see these guys back together once again after so many years. You know, UFO at this time had been sputtering for a number of years because even the Chapman era band that had already been, you know, not in existence for close to a decade at this point, right? You had Misdemeanor and High Stakes and you know, these couple other albums and EPs and things where UFO just constantly changing lineups and who's in there, who's in the band is a UFO name only type of thing, right? So when this album came out, it's like all of a sudden UFO were back, right, for the first time in a number of years. So, yeah, that's my pick for today. Walk on Water by UFO. Let us know what you think of this album down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, day number 6, as we continue on looking at some of the great comebacks in rock history of all time, and especially our favorites, right? So tune in tomorrow for another one, day number 7. And let's see, in just a couple of hours, we got the UK Connection coming at you. We're going to be talking about our favorite and least favorite albums from the great Southern rock legends Blackfoot. That's coming up just a few hours. Tomorrow we've got ranking the albums of Bread with Grant Arthur and myself. We've also got coming up on Tuesday, we've got In the Prog Seat, a great album study on Yes's Tales from Topographic Ocean. So all that and more coming up here on the channel. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of the weekend. Bye-bye.